All right. So, hello everyone. I am Alyan Fiverrwala, and today we are with Ma'am Jelena. So, let's welcome our guest and let's talk with her. So, hello, Miss. How are you?
Fine. And you?
I am also fine. Thank you so much for asking, and thanks so much for coming, Miss. So, first of all, can you please introduce yourself for my viewers?
Yes. I today my journey, academician, career, and scientific career. Very interesting question to me. Much question to me.
All right. Thank you so much. Okay. So, Miss, can you tell me what inspired you to pursue a career in genetics and plant breeding, and how has your journey evolved over the years?
Yes, thank you. Respected. Please. Respected Alyan Fiverrwala, ladies and gentlemen, I special thanks for the invitation, you to be guest speaker and extend warm regards, important interview, experience, famous scientists, university professors, student business people, etc. My inspiration in for genetics and plant breedings from my genetics professor at the biology study at the University of Novi Sad. Mentorship is gift and privilege, and I had outstanding mentor, my professor, Dr. Katarina Borojevic, PhD, full professor genetics in biology study at the Faculty of Science and Mathematics at University Novi Sad, the former state Yugoslavia. My professor was my scientific mentor and my mentor through a level of study, basic, master, and doctoral study. This means that I saw her an role model and believe that her vast knowledge and wisdom could help me to progress and as successful as possible in the professors to which I am the case while I was studying of two different faculty. Beginning a mentor can be on the most uh, valuable and appreciated thing you can ever do in my career. She was not a good mentor, but an outstanding mentor. Was a person who did something incredible in my life and the development of my scientific and university career. My scientific Professor Borovic is scientific mother. She was always there for me and incredibly focused on my career development part. She always listened while I speak and carefully brought down and then give her command which would help me to change some tiny my work and thinking. I have always been able to feel when someone is present listening in the most visible skill and the most often use to show presence. Active listening is met with a contact, a certain body language, partner, perhaps, and encourage someone up. Great listeners are generally interested in learning more. They listening for understanding, discipline themselves as to their own subject. Professor Dr. Mai Katerina Borojevic, she asked great question, much question. As outstanding mentor, she not only told various scientific story and shared areas much problem genetically. Then At the beginning, the next meeting, she would report on what she had done and ask me to the same. Is very interesting period my life career. Thank you.
That's great, so wonderful. So, can you share any memorable moment from your time as a student, University of Sarajevo or the University of Navy Sad?
Oh, very interesting question for me. My incredible moments studying in two different universities remind my deep memory that I had faculty professors who had built international scientific and education careers. Uh, at the time, we're learning a lot from numerous books discussed with our professors. And we often had professors from different universities from around the world, special European country, USA, Russia, India, etc. There, I gaining on idea how much I have to work in order to success in science because I was prepared to become a scientist through my upbringing and later through development of my career and university professors. Thank you.
Oh, okay, that's great, interesting. All right, so you have worked and specialized in many countries, including the EU and United States. How have this experience shaped your
Ah,
research and teaching approach?
very, very interesting period for me. Uh, I spent 3 years on international project at universities in Germany, France, in Netherlands, Italy, and Great Britain. I spent a year in the USA at the laboratory of the University Minnesota, Manhattan. Minnesota, Manhattan, Kansas State University were complete by research for my doctoral dissertation become second doctoral dissertation mentor was Professor Dr. Louis Browder from Kansas State University. That was the period the marketed my career and work with world scientists who formed scientific foundation in the genetic of resistance to pathogenic organisms. In this excellent team was my mentor from the Faculty of Agriculture of University Novi Sad, academician Distiš Slavko Borojević, Professor Katarina Borojević from Faculty of Science and Mathematics, University Novi Sad, and my husband, Professor Dr. Momčilo Bošković, also on outstanding scientific name in world of pathology. Work together on project with Nobel laureate Norman Borlaug, who won Nobel Prize for the Green Revolution. Today, world scientists and enthusiasts, my interest in science started more intensively through grammar school, where I was particularly attracted to nature science, and I studied literature, psychology, philosophy, music, which give a broad education for future education and the faculties. And until today, I have not stopped learning and is- sorry, whether speaking of skills and passing them on the students' scientific teams and the staff you forming a university career.
That's great. So, what motivated your shift from an academic role to administrator positions such as and dean and director at various institutions?
My motivation has always been creative. The establishment of the higher vocational school of agriculture and the faculty of biofarming, which were first private institutions in Europe in agriculture science, in order to create such institution with a level of study, basis, master, and doctoral study. I get her the best team from the region and consultant professors from different universities around the world.
Okay, so your work has contributed significantly to plant resistance genetics, especially with wheat hybrid. Could you elaborate on the impact of your work?
From the beginning in my career, my research was directed towards sustainable agriculture, analyzing my overall scientific research and education activity and achievement results that were evaluated by eminent scientists, university professors, academic through the writing of report for the selection a full professor several university and academic and I made on exponential contribution to the development of science in the field of genetics and breeding plants, especially the selection for with resistance to the leaf rust pathogen or Puccinia triticina. These excellent scientific results that the achieving are completely competitive with the results of the most productive and creative European and world researcher and represent a high contribution in the promotion of science in agriculture, in particularly acknowledgeable and the methodology convey the last scientific achievement from the contemporary science I'm involved in two numerous generation of students in my scientific research work also show great and extensive activity which at best illustrated by published textbook, monography, scientific book, scientific paper, and numerous participation in national and international conference and much international and project and national. I was often invited to participate in the work of large number international and national scientific meetings and very often not only as a referee but also as a member in the organization and program committee of this meeting uh, preceding over the session which in and and badly contributed my reputation and my of both science and university in the domain of genetic, of resistance and breeding for pathogens. I am constantly improving my work and acknowledge through scientific correspondence that was achieved through international project exchange opinion consideration and new scientific directions.
Okay, that's great. So, can you tell me what challenges did you face while developing over 10,000 wheat hybrid, and what are the key milestones of this achievement?
The creation of wheat hybrid for resistance to the cosmopolitan pathogen Puccinia triticina or weed leaf rust has been the advantages of working with outstanding scientists from around the world, major wheat research centers such as CIMIT in Mexico and ICARDA in Syria, which is now defunct. That enormous work was financial for international project where my husband, Professor Dr. Jelena Bošković, a well-known international scientific in the field of phytopathology, led the International Center for Leaf Rust for 35 years in a research of Institute Crop and Vegetable Agriculture. Our country was not subject to international sanction and science for 10 years. Working selection spread to weed selection center and these our hybrid were incorporated into numerous wild varieties.
Okay, that's great. All right. So, how do you see genetic playing a role in combating global food insecurity, particularly in the field of planting breeding?
Of course, of course, of course, genetic and plant breeding play a very important role in food security, especially when today there is an extreme climate change, which can lead to food shortage in the world, climate change, pathogen, etc. If we look at the general this in the century of genetic, with different scientific methods, especially by certain on modified plants, transgenic, modified organisms, and CRISPR-Cas technology, editing gene in the same species. Transgenic technology or modified organisms technology is the recombination of genes from different species and is a really big challenge for food security for mankind.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. So, can you discuss any ongoing research project or collaboration that you are excited about at the moment?
Of course, I still work on project and collaborated with my successor, especially and participate in building their career. The project related to several plant species, the influence of abiotic and biotic factors on different plant species. As a scientist, I also interested in the last research in the world in this area and participate in numerous scientific meetings and talk about uh, what genetic and plant breeding are today in the strategy of providing food for the growing world population.
Okay, thank you so much. So, you have mentored and guided numerous doctoral and master students. What is the most rewarding aspect of being a mentor?
This question is much interesting for me career. The aspect of mentorship is the best when there is choose master and doctoral student who interested in professional and professional. That has always been important to me to evoke an interest in science and development enthusiasm in students, and many have uh, built great professional career in science, university, and universities in region and world. It's my outstanding contribution to the spirit and scientific true.
Okay, thanks so much for your answer. So, how do you inspire young scientists to remain dedicated to their field despite challenges in scientific and research?
I always manage to inspire scientists to stay true to their vision and continue working dynamically and always exploring new direction of science. It is something that is most valuable for building a career and that they have development international cooperation, go on study through project or different scientific scholarship.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. Now tell me, how has the academic landscape for natural science evolved over the year in Serbia and the surrounding regions?
Serbia has an excellent scientific potential for natural science. It has excellent faculty. Our scientists are extremely high evaluated by the world. Next research center are created, especially the prominent project Biofor, which is beginning built within largest Serbian university in Belgrade. More than 1,000 scientists from Serbia and from other universities around the world will work. Our Ministry of Science, Technological Development and Innovation has presented development of Serbian science at various international meetings, especially at Harvard University and United Nations.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. So, how can genetic and biotechnology be better integrated into main system education and public awareness campaigns?
How genetics, various academy, how genetics, is complex, complex how genetics opinion challenge being modern agriculture. The biggest challenge facing modern agriculture and genetics are climate change, which will truly leave an everlasting make agriculture production. The genetics improvement of crops focus the significant challenges of feeding in our increasing population amidst a changing climate and when government are adopting a more less approach to reduce input use. Plant breeding has the potential to contribute to the United Nations Agenda 2030 by addressing various sustainable development CGDGS with most profound impact accepted zero hunger or much problem in the world. To expedite the time consuming corresponding process, a genomic lead approach for predicting breeding value, target mutagenesis through gene editing, CRISPR technology, high through phenomic for trait evaluation, environment for including characterization, testing environments, machine learning for effective management of live data set and speed breeding technique promotive flowering seed production are, are being incorporated into plant breeding textbook. They advancing are uh, poised to enhance genetic gain through selection on a Kalgan pool of various crops. Consequently, these knowledge-based breeding methods are pros that introgression population and cultivar development. In specific, enhancement germplasm, functional genomic and crop genetics improvement, especially especially period since the base transfer DNA into plant cell using agrobacterium tumefaciens, different transformation method enable rapid advanced molecular breeding approach bring breeding methods conventional, different breeding methods conventional, especially today, CRISPR technology editing genes variety. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your answer. Okay, Miss. So my last question is: so looking back at your impressive career, is there any advice you would offer to your younger self or to an aspiring researcher in the field of genetics?
Oh, my impressive career. Oh, is a very interesting my career and genetics and plant breeding. Genetics and plant breeding have been integrated into higher education in important and various faculty for decades, which in the output profile uh, all world forecast about the basic of 21st century technology agree of this that precisely molecular biotechnology will be the driving force of development contemporary civilization. The reasons for such forecast lies in the problem with which today's civilization is largely faced. This main problem can be rightly or easily summarized in the following challenges: obtain fast, obtain new raw material for the chemical and other industry from renewable resources, e.g. biomass, and not from fossil fuel, what the quantity limited. 2. Obtain new biodegradable material. 3. Obtain alternative form of energy use of secondary biomass and other waste of various uh, origin the production of gas, alcohol, and hydrogen. Well, completely the adoption of the last knowledge in the field molecular biology in the form genetic engineering in order to improve biotechnological process results in completely new quality that molecular biotechnology began development instead isolating a certain production organism already already synthesized is new possible biological factory from microorganism is a interesting period. 21st, 21st century scientists, biology, molecular biology, genetics, apoptosis, climate change, and especially introduction artificial intelligence in life and science.
Okay, that's great. So again, thank you, Miss, for your wonderful time and thank you for answering my question. Thank you so much, Miss.